Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Parent to Parent. If you're a parent, that like time clock actually gives me a little bit of anxiety, to tell you the truth, because I'm like, oh my God, I have so much to do, just like the moms that we're going to be introduced to today. And I'm so excited that we're talking about this because, the holidays, yes, they're stressful because you're like, okay, I need to do this, but then you also want to be like this perfect parent. And no matter what people say, you always are thinking in the back of your mind, what can I do better? How can I do this, that? And at the end of the day, I've had to learn this myself, and I continue to learn this, that we need to just give ourselves grace. And one of the big things that has become huge on social media, this started off in 2005 because of a book. We're talking about Elf on the Shelf. So you can go super extravagant. You can just not do it at all, but it does add a little bit of magic. So, before we start this, I just want to let parents know if there's kids in the room, you might want to just, let them not be there because we're going to be talking about this. And I want to bring in Tasha Dalal. She's here. Hi, Tasha. You're so excited to be here.
Brianna Griff. Thanks for having me.
Is as well. Now, I say that because we're all super busy moms, and we're actually going to talk to Tasha first because she's on a little bit of a time crunch, and her kids will be coming home from school pretty soon. And she does Elf on the Shelf. And so first off, Tasha, why did you want to start something like this? Because you said you started it when you just had one child.
Yeah, I saw the concept and I thought it was kind of cute. And I am so in love with Christmas. So I just wanted to bring a little bit of that joy to my home. My daughter was, I think, 3-ish at the time. And I thought it'd be fun.
Yeah. And she's actually done some great things. This is my favorite one. Like, what are you doing?
I know.
This is, of course, the first one I show. But, you can get creative. But what I really like about what you do is you're not going out there spending all this money. People do scenes, all kinds of stuff. So tell me how you come up with yours.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of this on social media, like other people posting stuff, or I just honestly will like look at the stuff in my home and see like what can I come up with. My kids love marble runs, and so that's why I was like, oh well, I can take a few kind of cardboard little tubes and put something together. They love popcorn and movie night, so yeah, just coming up with things that I know that'll spark their interest.
Yes. And it has helped you in parenting with the morning routine, which is always dreaded by all parents because between the hours of whatever until 8, it's like crazy. So how has this helped you?
It has made a huge difference, honestly. I mean, it's brought the mornings like probably 50% less chaotic just because they're so excited about Elfie. And they're not fighting with each other. They love to just talk about Elfie and then they're on their way. It kind of sets the stage for the day. And I think, it's really helped.
That's great. And what's great is that it's helped you in your life, but that's not always the case for everyone. And there are other traditions that, you might want to start, but it's like, it's just too much. It's like, is there anything like that you found right now in your parenting where you'd like to do it, but it's just too much work right now?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, honestly, celebrating all of the different birthdays in the effort and way that my kids would love to have them celebrated, I can't do that right now.
Yeah.
So we pick and choose, big birthdays, small birthdays. We really have to pick and choose because you can't do everything.
Yeah, you really can't. And Brianna, I wanted to bring you in. I know, Tasha, you have to go. I was just going to tell you that, Brianna, you have a special circumstance because you're the youngest of 3 sisters. Her 2 older sisters do it. Her parents do it. She's like, you know what? I just can't do it. And I'm like, good for you, because you really have to set that boundary. And, it's something that all parents need to do. And we're all learning it because we want to do the best for our kids.
Yeah. And I think it helps too that my kids are younger. So I feel like when Elf on the Shelf started, it was like pretty chill. There was just an elf and it would move different locations. But then in the past couple of years with social media and everything, the elf is doing a lot more activities than it used to do.
Yes. And it really is so magical. Well, Tasha, I know you have to go. I saw your little one peeping. So
stop
talking, Mom. Yeah. We'll see you later. Thank you for
having
us.
Me.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
So Brianna, I wanted to ask you, what kind of, you're also a single mother. I mean, you work as well. For other parents out there who are trying to juggle it all, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I think just focusing on what is actually important to you. You know, with social media, with all the influencer moms and everything, it can be really, you'll see something online, you know, on Pinterest or Instagram, and you'll think, oh, I'm not doing that. I need to be doing that. And you have to take a step back and actually think to yourself, do I really need to do this? Is this actually important to me? Or do I just feel that pressure and that guilt that so many parents have nowadays? For example, I was thinking about doing an advent calendar. I was like, okay, if I'm not doing Elf on the Shelf, maybe I do an advent calendar. But I'm a divorced mom. I only have my kids every other week. So that doesn't really work unless,
Yeah.
they're going to be eating a lot of candy in the short amount of days. So for me, it's really just about taking that step back and making sure that I'm not giving into the pressure from society. I think the Elf on the Shelf is a great idea, but I also have the tendency to take things over the top and want to do them to the extreme. So I know if I did Elf on the Shelf, then I would be the mom probably laid up at, 2 a.m. trying to like make the elf like spin from the ceiling or something. So
But like to make that like self-correct is so I think that's so powerful because that's actually something I'm recently learning. I'm not like personally, usually I do this family, like my extended family, I'll do a Christmas and I'm just saying a personal thing. I mean, it's just a lot of drama sometimes. And it's just a lot of just everything, like people's dietary restrictions and all this stuff. And I've been trying to do it every year, which I do. But this year I said, you know what? I'm not going to do it. And I don't even feel guilty about it. I feel like this relief, like it's created space for me to do something else that I am happy with, that I do feel happy. And I think that just like you were saying when I was interviewing you, putting the oxygen mask on yourself first is so crucial. And just to avoid burnout. And I recently actually did feel that burnout. I like looked up what the definition was. So I'm like, why am I feeling like this? Like, I don't have time for this. Why am I feeling this? And so I think that that's so good. Are there other things that you've, not just the holidays, but I guess, with the kids that you feel you've kind of had to set a boundary for yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I know, for like school photos, first day of school, oftentimes people have those really cute boards. And that's just something that my oldest just started kindergarten this year. And I thought, oh, if I'm going to start it, I better start it now. But I didn't. And that's okay. We're going to be okay without him having those really cute post photos that other families have. And some families don't have them. So I think it's really just about making sure that what I'm doing is because I want to do it. And like you said, putting on your oxygen mask first. I'm also have different holiday plans this year than I typically do with my family. Usually we all try to get together. And so I could have done that, but it would have been a long drive with just me and my two boys. I knew I'd be stressed out. My kids get car sick. It would have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. And I know that I will be a better mom. It feels, obviously there's that guilt, like they won't get to see some of their cousins until next year probably. But I know that it's going to be a lot less stressful, which is going to make it a lot more magical for both of us, for all of us. So
yeah. And one thing that's kind of helped me too is I think back about like my memories and I just remember the times that my mom was happy or my dad was happy or like we were doing things all together because like doing it with my mom, like she wasn't stressed out because they can sense that they can, see all that, but it didn't have to be. I don't remember like when we hung out with the whole family and did this or what, so
yeah,
it's not like this traumatizing thing. I do feel sometimes I try to like look back at, what life would be like without social media, because I think that's the pressure that everybody has. In terms of like your feelings towards the traditions for Christmas and like even like at school and stuff, how do you handle and balance all of that?
Yeah, for when it comes to school, my oldest especially really loves to dress up for certain days. Like he just loves that camaraderie. So I always ask him first off, what he wants to do and if he wants to do it. And that way, so I'm not just being like, oh, he needs to be a snowman today. And then I go spend like $50 on Amazon, getting him
Right, right.
so I try to, first gauge his interest and then we'll maybe come up with something together. But in terms of, other holiday traditions, I try to think about things that I know that is really about quality time spent together.
Mhm.
So one of the traditions that we do is the Icelandic tradition of everybody gets a new book on Christmas Eve.
Oh,
And yeah, I am not going to try to say the name of it because I would absolutely butcher it.
it's like what is that, from Iceland?
It's from Iceland, yeah. Yeah, so everybody gets a new book on Christmas Eve. They get gifted one, and then you spend the night, usually like that Christmas Eve night, like, curled up with some hot cocoa, maybe reading the
Yeah.
book.
What
Yeah.
a great idea.
Yeah.
That's so good. Thank you for telling me that. Now I'm gonna like try to do that. That's, I love like traditions like that are like beneficial, like it's.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you can never have too many books is my belief. But also
Oh yes.
it's instilling that love for reading in them. And so, obviously my oldest can read now, but once they get their books, then we'll all sit down and we'll read them together. We'll have some hot cocoa, make some, eat some cookies or something like that. And then, once they go to bed, then mom gets to curl up with the book that she gifted herself.
Yes, that's such a good idea. And you
Yeah.
know what? Some of these children's books are like, they're really good. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I
sounds
actually,
like no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I realized that I left one of my favorite Christmas books at when I left my ex-husband's house, and so I went and bought it. It doesn't get here until like right before Christmas, which is frustrating, but I cannot wait to read it with the boys.
Oh, that's great. Which one is it?
It's called Christmas in Color, I think is what it's called. And it tells kind of the story of the nativity and everything, but it's also celebrating Christmas, but through the different colors. So it's like Christmas is green, and then it's like talks about the trees and things like that.
Very cool. I'm gonna write that down. Christmas in Color. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll set out cookies and milk for Santa Claus. But even with that, I'm not a baker, and I know I'm not a baker. So they will just be, the Chips Ahoy that you can, or maybe the break and bake.
Those are really good.
Yeah, I'm not decorating sugar cookies over here.
No. Like I said, let's do gingerbread houses and decorate them. It's just like a mess, and it's like 5 minutes of fun.
Yeah.
Then they're on to the next thing. So it's not a long-term thing. But then you have like these little things that you want to give away, like, because they haven't played with them, all of a sudden are the coolest things in the world.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I just asked the other day if I could sell their Paw Patrol tower, and suddenly it's their favorite toy.
Oh my, right now that's what's happening. They have not played with this Paw Patrol tower. It's taking up so much room. I'm like, and one thing that I started doing was we do like a fall cleaning because we know we're going to get more toys. So we need to like, because these are like good toys. They've been not used much. And, so we give it a huge chunk away to kids that don't have toys.
Yeah.
So they learn that part of it because, they do get spoiled with their grandparents or whatever the case may be. Like, especially like, that's another thing that I've been like thinking about is how to, because we go to like my in-laws' house, my mom's place. It's just like so many gifts at once, where I don't think that they appreciate as much as I would like to have them appreciate the certain gifts. No, I was just going to say that I was reading a book and my son already fell asleep, but then I was like, oh my God, I want to finish it. I don't know what happens.
Yes.
It's like, did the duck make it?
Yes. No, there are nights where I pick out the book. I'm like, okay, Mama's picking out the book we're reading tonight.
Yes.
I haven't read my favorite ones in quite some time. So.
Yes. No, that's awesome. What about go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say back to Christmas presents, actually. What I don't like is stocking stuffers. It's so hard to find stocking stuffers that are not like, you go to like TJ Maxx or Target and they'll have like the little things and the dollar spots and things like that. But what I've started to do actually is to give them things that they can use that I know that will not just be like little trinkets I have to throw away in the drawer. So I'll give them like pens, markers. My kiddos are 3 and 6, so they're getting Scotch tape, which I know they're very excited about.
Yes.
Notes. So I try to give them more of the kind of items that I know that they love and will use, rather than, thinking to myself like, oh, they need another squishy ball, or they need another, we have so many stuffed animals. We don't need more of those either.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I know.
Yeah.
There's like the, I don't know if you've seen, it's like, it turns into this huge pillow where you just like stuff all the stuffed animals in there. And then it's like a bean bag, but like,
yes, I should get one of those. That's a good idea.
I have one of those and it's great. It's kind of morbid because you're like sitting on the animals, but like, like once you get over that, like, no, he's going to be fine.
I know. I was a little girl. I was a little girl when I was younger who like, I had my favorite like stuffed animal and I would like put him in the suitcase and then I would unzip it a little bit.
Yes. That's how my kids are, like, just so that you can breathe, and now here I am like putting them all in this pod and it's like,
on it.
well, yeah. Cause like they are all sitting to where they can all see and breathe. And now I'm not only stuffing them in a bag, I'm sitting on them. I know it's crazy. Yeah. And what about with after Christmas? Like, what are things that you plan on doing after that? Like, meaning with the gifts and all of that?
Yeah. So we actually don't get as many gifts because, first of all, we have the 2 households. So that is actually very helpful. So, the gifts that they get from their dad's family will stay at their dad's house. But for aunts and uncles, we usually either pick names, have the kids pick a name that way so that they're only giving or getting one gift, which really cuts back on all of those toys. So before the Christmas comes, I'm going to try to go through and get rid of some of the items that they are not really playing with anymore. I guess the Paw Patrol tower is staying now.
It should, or it's going to be World War III. I mean,
exactly. Yes, exactly. So I'll see what I can sneak out. But then I'll either, donate those probably. But, and even too for Christmases, there have been times where I haven't as much had time this year, but I like to go to thrift stores and actually look for toys there too for the boys to gift to them, because there's so many great things there that they can play with that can have a new life, which is always
yes, I totally agree with that. And one of the other things that because mine are 6 and 3 too, is them getting gifts for one another, and it doesn't have to be like super expensive or anything, but it's like the Lego they made or the card that they made, and I stick those in the stocking stuffer. I mean, I've been doing it for like 1 year, so it's not like I do it every single year. Yeah, it's a tradition.
It is a tradition.
Like 3 of them.
This young, it's a tradition. You can do something today, and it'll be a tradition.
Yeah, it's like this is my famous recipe that I'm starting today.
Yes, exactly.
It's like I've never made it before, but it's famous.
I'll ask that's the thing is like my 6-year-old, I'll be like, well, we did this last year. And he'll be like, I don't remember that. And you're like, oh,
yeah,
I don't.
Yeah.
I was so stressed out about it. And you don't remember.
I know.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to take them shopping to pick out a present for their dad so that they'll have something to give him.
Oh, yeah, that would be really nice. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Brianna, for your time. I think this is great. And, it really just helps listening from another parent who's like in the thick of it, in the trenches, just like so many others. And, everybody has so much going on, and it's like, you don't have to do it all. So I really do hope parents, you got that out of there. You got that out of this, that you don't have to do it all. You just need to love your child. Quality over quantity. I think that's huge. Absolutely. Well, Brianna, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us for another edition of Parent to Parent. I hope everyone is not as stressed out. I know it is a stressful time, but hopefully those tips really did help you out, because it really is just about, being with your family and your kids and just doing things together. And that's what they'll remember, because that's what you remember. So we will join you again next week for another edition of Parent to Parent. It's probably a little Christmassy, so we're going to stay with the theme there. Thanks so much for watching.